Thanks for logging on to the daily DVAR halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Monday, the 16th day of November. Here we go. First of all, I want to clarify something that got cut off. Actually, the sound was cut off in yesterday's halacha, and we'll just clarify for you. The gist of yesterday's was that you should not take a baby bottle and heat it by putting it into a kli rishon. That's a hot pot that just came off directly off of the fire. Don't put a baby bottle into that. You're immersing it, let's say, in the water. Even though you took it off of the fire, it's going to help heat up that baby bottle, and that would be like cooking it, and because it's a kli rishon, and that's how hot kli rishons are, and therefore you're not allowed to do that. That was the gist of yesterday's law, if you missed any of it. Today's law will be a few examples of where you're also using a kli rishon. That's, again, a hot pot that just came off of the fire, and you might want to pour from it, from that kli rishon, onto, let's say, a baked item, some kind of, I don't know, croissant or something, and the hot soup is going to go onto it and it's going to heat it up. Well, that's not allowed to be done, because since you're pouring directly from that vessel that just came off the fire, it still has the status during the pouring of the hotness of the fire that it just came off of, and therefore it's considered halachically to be able to bake or cook that item that you're pouring the hot water onto, and therefore don't do that. Don't pour from a hot pot that just came off the fire onto a baked item. Also, don't pour from a kli rishon. Again, that's a hot kettle that just came off of wherever, or a hot pot of water that just came off of the fire. Don't pour that onto coffee grinds, or even coffee powder, because that's going to bake them, cook them, and you're not allowed to do that. You're also not allowed to take a large amount of water out of that kettle and pour it into a small amount of cold water that's in a cup, because that water in the cup is going to get cooked by the hot water that's being poured onto it. But if you're doing the reverse, hope this doesn't sound complicated, if you're pouring a small amount from a hot thing that just came off the fire into a large amount of cold water, so the cold water is not going to get cooked because only a small amount of hot water is going into it. So if you're pouring from a kli rishon, a very hot thing, but only a small amount of it, into a large amount of cold, and all you're going to do is bring up the cold from, let's say, 40 degrees to 45 degrees, that's totally allowed, because that's not called cooking. It doesn't get anywhere near the temperatures of a hand jumping away from it, so that would be fine. Thanks for logging on, and log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.